Welcome back. You are almost done with Module 3. This module has examined key areas of conducting an education sector analysis, with a focus on the analysis of the pre-primary subsector. We have seen that some of the main challenges for the pre-primary subsector include incorporating information from the multiplicity of ECE actors and the lack of pre-primary data in many countries. This last section proposes suggestions of how to move forward with the ESA considering these constraints. As mentioned, the data collection and analysis phases of the ESA are opportunities to note what data exists and what is missing. It is also a chance to discuss strategies with stakeholders for making better use of existing data and strengthening data collection and M&E mechanisms. These recommendations can then be used as strategic ESP priorities related to pre-primary access and quality. There is a tendency to shorten the time frame for ESA and ESP preparation, with greater reliance of existing evidence, which is problematic for pre-primary where data is more likely lacking. This calls for critical pre-primary analyses to be conducted before the planning process starts, so it can be fully integrated into the ESA-ESP process. Depending on the analytical capacities available at the country level, it might be necessary to bring in technical resources. It is important, however, that the ESA development process remains as participatory as possible, involving national participants in the data collection, analysis, and write-up processes, with special attention to ECE stakeholder participation and capacity building. ESA development should reflect the multi-sectoral aspects of early childhood education and development by incorporating a multi-sectoral national technical working team led by the Ministry of Education, with representatives from various ministries involved, practitioners from NGOs, FBOs, or the private sector, as well as representatives from academia and disadvantaged groups. There should also be a broad consultation phase where ESA results are discussed and stakeholders' recommendations are incorporated before finalization. Three key takeaways from this module include: 1. The ESA is the initial phase of the ESP process and aims to provide an in-depth analysis of the strengths, challenges, and pockets of inefficiencies of the education sector as a whole, including pre-primary education. 2. The ESA is an entry point to elevate the priority status of pre-primary education. Integrating pre-primary education into the ESA helps to ensure that it is featured in subsequent phases of the ESP process and that it receives attention and adequate funding. 3. A good ESA from the ECE perspective will comprehensively cover all dimensions and elements of the pre-primary subsector, including the enabling environment, the core areas of access, equity, quality, and effectiveness, cost and financing of ECE, and resources management, including quality assurance mechanisms. Congratulations! You have finished the presentation of Module 3. Please do not forget to now consult the course reader. Particularly for this module, there are many technical aspects that could not be sufficiently covered in this presentation, which the reader is able to address in much more depth.